Hello, hello. So we are going to be talking about becoming friends with our emotions that live in our body. And we've got Cettina that's going to be joining us. She's waved. Cettina, you need to request to join. So Cettina is going to be explaining to us how we can release these emotions that we store in our body. Here we go.
I thought you said we were talking about fear today.
I mean,
I was trying to scare you.
yeah, not like humor, funny. I mean, yeah, I was shocked.
Hello.
Hello. This is like a really serious conversation about how we have fear in our body.
We're not expecting that.
You're gonna have to try harder than that if you want to scare me. I mean, you'll get a giggle out of me and maybe a shock, but try harder, Cettina, okay? So we are here to talk about how we know that we store emotions in our body, and how we know that if we ignore those emotions in our body and we don't release them, that they will be signs from our body in terms of sickness and disease. And so it's really important that we release these fears, because otherwise these fears can, or these emotions, sorry, they can have more power than they need. So this week we're going to talk about the emotion of fear.
Fear, yeah, everyone loves fear. We even watch the movies to scare ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thrill that you feel in your bones.
Yeah. I mean, some people like to be scared, like you said, like they choose to watch those films and they like that kind of feeling. I don't know. I don't mind watching scary movies, but I don't know. Yeah. But do we store fear in certain parts of our bodies?
Yeah, we store all emotions in our bodies before being able to release them, of course.
Yeah.
So I want to say a few words about fears before we go to the practical part and we start to attune with our body, as you say, and start to feel what we want to feel and understand what we want to understand. And the first thing I want to say is the importance of emotions. And in this case, we're talking about fear. Mm-hmm. I wanted to say why it is important to feel fear. I mean, it may be something that sometimes we don't want to feel, or maybe that we don't like to feel. But if we really put our attention on the reason why we are feeling that emotion in that moment, we understand the importance of it. For example, I don't know, just an example, I'm going to be live, right? So I need to speak, without knowing what I'm going to say. Maybe I'm going to say stupidities. So I have fear. Why do I have fear? And why is it important for me to have fear in that moment? Because it gives me the sense and the importance of what I'm going to do. If I didn't care about what I was going to do, and it's the same, for example, if I have an exam, if I'm meeting an important person, if, I don't know, if anything is happening in my life that, I don't know, I'm scared of losing someone, I'm I may be afraid for my health or for my life. So how important is for us to understand our fears and why we are feeling that? Because if we just feel it without knowing what it is, we will not understand the message. So it's just something that is disturbing us, and we are not getting any information out of that.
And I don't know the answer to this, but is fear always something that we're fearful of in the future? No, I suppose not. I was just thinking about my fears, and they're often around the unknown, what's going to come next, or something that I need to prepare for, or something that I'm nervous about. But I suppose actually you can obviously be scared, like as a child, you'd be scared of people or of the dark. So I suppose there's lots of different kinds of fears.
Yeah, and actually, I was about to talk about this because, for example, we call the fear that we project in the future is anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the famous anxiety that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
Fear. It's fear of unknown, fear of what can happen to us, fear of the future. Fear about probably, and most of the time, something that we don't know. So fear, unknown fear. And that's another important thing that I wanted to share. Sometimes we are scared and we feel fear, and that fear is because of the conditioning that we had from our family, for example. If someone in our family, for example, suffer from anxiety, or maybe from society. So there are a number of information that get inside our brain and make us feel scared about things that in reality, they are not scary, they are not dangerous, and they don't hurt us.
Yeah.
So why is it important to understand the emotion that you feel? Because in the very moment in which you understand why you are feeling that emotion, then you can also discern, and you can say to yourself, well, I mean, I acknowledge that I'm feeling scared about this, for example, but it may not necessarily go in the wrong way as I'm fearing, right? So, for example, if you think about the future, no, and start to project something better for our future rather than following our fear and projecting something scary.
I mean, definitely. And I think you can feel this kind of fear in the atmosphere as we're in such a time of instability about the future. There's a real fear of what's next, and how is everything that's going on with lockdown and COVID going to impact my life? How is it going to impact my family? How is it going to impact my friends? There's a lot of fear that's bubbling within this unknown of the future that you've described.
Yeah. Sometimes we cannot change the future, or we cannot change the situation that we are in. So we just have to acknowledge the fear. But in the very moment in which we acknowledge it, we actually manage to get rid of it because we don't feel it anymore in our body as energy. We just understand it, feel it, and that's it. We can release it anyway, even if the stimulus, even if the problem is still there.
Yeah.
So, say for example, I found happened to me. So it's not that if I acknowledge my fear, then I'm not ill anymore. But if I'm acknowledging my fear, I may be able to face what am I going to face in a better way, because I understand why I'm scared. For example, it's because I really want to be healthy. I really want to live. I really love life. You know, there could be a number of things. And then after that, I can release the fear and I can face what I need to face in the best possible way.
I think it's about taking its power away. I think with any emotion, and fear obviously being the one we're focusing on, it can consume us if we give it too much attention or if we ignore it altogether. So in actually facing it and realizing, I mean, one, it's probably not as bad as what we've built it up to be. Two, we probably have no control of it anyway, so why give it that power? In taking a look, we are taking its power away. So why don't we jump in then? So you're going to talk us through a process where we can do this ourselves whenever we want, when we are feeling something within our bodies. And there might be telltale marks of we've got a migraine or we've got stomach ache. Our body is trying to tell us like something's not right. Stop ignoring this, and then feeling into that emotion. So this process is going to help us release that emotion.
Yes. And let's start.
Yes.
So, if anyone of you has the possibility to write in a piece of paper, that would help. Otherwise, you can just focus and remember what you're thinking, or maybe you want to, I don't know, take notes anywhere else. If anyone wants to just comment, writing on the comments what they are thinking, that would be welcome. So we start with just bringing our attention and our focus inside our body now.
Eyes open, eyes closed. Does it matter?
Whatever it's easy.
I'm going to do eyes closed.
Yeah. So the first step is acknowledge. So what we want to ask ourselves and our body is, do I have any fear inside me in this moment? And as soon as we ask this question, we may start to feel some emotions in our body in forms in different ways and in different parts of our body. So what I want you to do is now take notice of where you are feeling what you're feeling. Maybe a knot in your throat, maybe a stomach ache, some part of your body contracted, muscle contracted. Anything that will come in this moment is the answer to your question. Where is the fear in my body? Now, while you're feeling this, I really want you to attune, even if it is a bit uncomfortable, even if you don't like it in this moment, but it's important that you attune with this feeling that you have in your body in order to acknowledge it. And I want you now to try to describe it to yourself. You may want to use a shape, a color, a dimension, and even a movement of this energy inside your body. And while you are watching this, I want you to say to this energy, I acknowledge you. You are fear. I acknowledge you. Now while you do this, I want you to just remain in silence and listen what the fear is going to tell you. And the question we will ask is, what is the message that you want to give me? So when you get the message, when you feel that that is your truth, what the fear is telling you is your truth in that moment, I want you to repeat the message inside yourself. For example, I have fear of because. While you acknowledge, while you do this, I want you to feel grateful. Start to feel grateful for this information that the fear is bringing to you today. Because without the emotion, without the fear, you wouldn't have understand the information. The fear is giving you the importance of what you're feeling. So while you have this information now very present in your mind, I want you to just say thank you to your emotion. Now I want you to physically take it out of the part of your body where it's stored. I want you to use your hands, maybe use your breath to just take the emotion and release it. Let it go to the light. Let it go to the earth to be released, to be recycled. Let it go away. So the more you do this gesture with your hands, the more you should feel the emotion leaving your body, being released. Do it for as long as is needed for you to get rid of it completely, while continuing to repeat in your mind the sentence that emotion has made you understand. Now that sentence is very present in your mind, and you can decide if you want to take an action because of that sentence. You can use the sentence as an information to understand better yourself and to deal with what you are experiencing in your life. So now that you have done this, I want you to scan your body and check if you have released completely the emotion. And if you didn't, just continue, just use your hands and just imagine that you're taking away what remains, taking it all away from your body, from the parts of your body where it was stored. And then scan again, making sure it's all gone. And if there is still part of fear that is left there, you will need to start the process again. Just like asking yourself again, listen to the fear, asking yourself again, what is the message that the fear is bringing to me today? Acknowledge it, thank fear, and then release it again. some fear will be more complex. So we have more than one message that will need to be understood before being released. Only when you will be able to listen and understand all the message, then you will be able to release the emotion itself. So now you can start to come back, open your eyes, and how do you feel?
Fearless. No, that was great. Thank you. I think, yeah, I suppose to kind of talk through the process for me, and like people write your that are watching, write what came up for you. But I felt fear in the pit of my stomach, and oddly, I felt it in my like here, like really weird, odd place for it to be, and it felt like this really sort of dark blue, grainy texture, and yeah, the fear is just all around feeling stupid, and this fear of like looking stupid, of being stupid, that maybe actually I am just a dumbass. And so I witnessed it, and then I acknowledged it, and then when I acknowledged it, I felt sick. Like all of a sudden the emotion like came up to my heart, and I just felt sick. So I suppose that was me like putting a spotlight on it, and actually accepting it, and then releasing it, and I suppose obviously I work a lot with energy in Reiki, and I imagine like pulling out dark smoke, like imagine like pulling out this physical smoke that I'm imagining to be fear, and pulling it out of my body. And then I did the scans that you said, to check like, are you still there? Are you still like hiding like in any like little layer? And then it would. So I did the process again, and I kept pulling it out. And I suppose the fear for me would have stopped me from doing something, from the fear of looking stupid. So no, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Great. And of course, you can repeat this process for as much as is needed. With every fear, you can work on this as much as you want. Always do it with the light spirit. This is my suggestion. Always do it with joy, with happiness, rather than too much serious. Being too serious doesn't help.
So what do you do though? Because so say I'm really scared because I've got a big interview coming up, and I'm just like, what am I going to do? I don't feel, I've got imposter syndrome. I don't feel like I'm good enough, and I've got a lot of fears. It's quite hard to be like jolly in those moments, and just be and be happy. Like if I was in that moment and I was to do this exercise, I'm just thinking to try and change my brain to, I suppose it's about curiosity as well, just being curious about your body and then being relaxed.
Yeah, well, your question is how to feel happy and how to feel serene in a moment in which you're scared. And of course, our mind is, there are tricks that you can use. You can deceive your mind sometimes, no?
Fake it.
How does it work? For example, if you use a simple technique, in that moment in which you are, for example, sat in the room waiting for you to be called for the interview, just try to imagine that you are somewhere else, maybe in a beach, maybe focus on your last holiday. Or if you don't manage to do that, just imagine to be detached, very, very detached until you don't feel anything. Just like imagine that you're floating, you're going up to the sky and you're watching everything from above. Or maybe you can imagine that, I don't know, you will go inside and everyone inside will be, I don't know, will have the stupid mask of animals and you will start to laugh. You can use tricks to help yourself. And this is how our mind works. If we are too serious and we take life too seriously, we end up in struggling much more.
Yeah.
Well, if you use something that makes you feel lighter and makes you feel happier, and it can be even just, I don't know, in a moment in which you're stressed, just listening to music, something that you like, watching a funny cartoon. And
yeah.
it seems stupid, but it's not, because in that very moment, what you need to do is just change your mood.
Okay.
And feeling a bit lighter. And then once you are a bit lighter, then you can work on yourself, on your emotion, acknowledge it and release it.
Okay. That's helpful. Thanks. So it's basically do something to physically shift your mood, i.e. watch something funny or think about something happy, or just kind of like fake it till you make it. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And then shift yourself so you're not kind of consumed by it, and then do this exercise that you've just walked us through. And then Sandra's saying shine a light on that part as well, which is helpful. Oh, I feel really light. Yeah, I feel I feel good. And we've done these exercises so many times, and it's interesting because sometimes the messages I get are nice, but often they're not. Often they're not nice things. And yeah, it's interesting to listen to them and just to accept that that's what the message is.
Yes. So what you said right now is very important, and I just wanted to clarify this. When an emotion tells you something, it's not the truth. It's not the reality. It's what is the reality that you are experiencing in the moment. So if, for example, your emotion says, "Oh, you're stupid," or if you show yourself to the world will think that you're stupid. This is not real. Okay. But in the moment, that is what you're feeling. That's why it's real for you. And that's why you have to acknowledge it. It may come, as I was saying before, from a conditioning. It may come from something that other people have told you, or how you have felt at some point in your life. There's always a reason for that particular expression of emotion to be there. But that doesn't mean that has to be your reality forever. It's real in that moment for yourself until you release it.
Okay. Great. Easy. Done. Okay, so I'm mindful that this is everyone's lunchtime breaks and don't want to keep this too long. We're going to do this for the next 5 weeks now, and really sort of getting to know these different emotions that we store in our body. So we've confronted fear and we have said hello to it and released it. Next, what's next on the agenda?
Next will be
sadness. Sadness. Okay. Yeah. I'm down with that. Okay, so next week, 12 o'clock, we're going to do the same thing. We are going to explore where we store sadness in our bodies. We're going to explore why, and then you're going to walk us through that process again of how to make friends with this emotion of sadness that we store within us and then release it. And it's all a progress. I mean, a journey. Like with these exercises, it's just a tool for us to be able to have at hand when we recognize that we're holding on to these emotions. It's not just a do it one, we're fixed, I'm never going to feel sadness and fear ever again. It's something to have in your toolbox when we recognize that we're holding on to these emotions.
Yes, and you guys have all the week to learn, maybe listen to this video again, learn how to use this process, learn how to use this tool. And if you want to write any comment, if you have any question about how this works, if there is anything that is not clear, I'm here to help. Yeah, and see you next week with the
next week, 12 o'clock. Thank you so much for sharing that, Cettina. It's so wonderful. And we will catch up again this time next week. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all your comments. Really appreciate it.